Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Samantha and today I'm going to show you something really spectacular. But before I go into that, I want to thank those who subscribed to my channel already. Thank you so much. It's just wonderful to see the community growing, and I really hope you're benefiting from this channel. If there's something that you want me to talk more about, please don't hesitate to comment. Just leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll see what I can do. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I would really appreciate it if you go and click the red subscribe button. And then if you want to know when I have a new video on the channel, all you do is just click the little bell. So we're just going to go straight into the video because today I'm back in the kitchen, and that's because I have another DIY project for you, which is just amazing. And today we're going to make something that's good for both the skin and the hair. And this is whipped shea butter. Those of you who have watched some of my videos will already know that I love shea butter. My hair loves shea butter, but also my skin loves shea butter. I have generally dry skin, which is also very sensitive, and I found using shea butter really beneficial because it's got lots of good properties. Shea butter has got lots and lots of benefits. It's got lots of vitamins in it, particularly vitamin A, vitamin E, and these are really good for both the skin and the hair because they help to nourish the skin and they help to soothe the skin. If your hair follicles are healthy, then you're going to grow healthy hair. So that's why it has been shown to boost hair growth. But also because it's got fatty acids in it, which help to soothe the skin and reduce inflammation of the skin. If you've got tender spots, if your scalp is really dry and flaky, then shea butter might be something that you might want to go for. It's also got really moisturizing properties because what it does is that once you apply moisture to your hair, you can use it to seal in the moisture, and therefore shea butter is fantastic for those people with coarse, dry hair because what it can do is to seal in the moisture and therefore make your hair really nice and soft, moisturized, and therefore it will help prevent breakage, prevent split ends. So it's fantastic. I've got type 4C low porosity hair, but I use shea butter and my hair really thrives on that. I know some people will say, you know, people with low porosity hair really shouldn't use shea butter, but I always say you need to listen to your hair, and if your hair likes shea butter, then by all means use it. Yes, there is a chance that it may cause a little bit of product buildup, but that's if you use too much. You don't need to use a lot. A small amount is all you need, and you apply it to your hair as often as needed. You know, some people need it every day, other people maybe 2 or 3 times a week. All I'm saying is listen to your hair, and if this is something that your hair likes, then just ignore the noise and just do what your hair likes. Anyway, shea butter on its own is fine to use, and it's obviously okay to use as it is. Now, there are 2 varieties of shea butter as far as I know, and you get either the yellow shea butter or the ivory shea butter. These ones, as long as they're unrefined, they raw unrefined, they are pretty much the same. It's just the difference in color. Some people will say that the yellow shea butter has more nourishing things in it, but as far as I found in my research, they are both the same. However, when it's processed and becomes that pure white shea butter, then a lot of the vitamins have been taken out, or a lot of the goodness has been taken out. It will still do good for your hair and your skin. I'm not saying you should never use the refined form, but I personally prefer the unrefined. If you use shea butter on its own, you'll see that it can be quite difficult to take out and to use because it's quite hard, quite solid, and if you try and spread it, it can end up just being a bit of a mess, and this is how you can end up using too much on your hair and getting product buildup. Yes, it does melt quite easily once you rub it in your hair, but still, it's still a little bit on the I suppose, it's a bit sticky as it is, which is why I like to whip it. And when I whip the shea butter, I can either whip it on its own or I can add other things. And today I'm going to show you the things that I usually add to my shea butter to make it nice and creamy, easier to use, and also to boost the properties of my shea butter. So this is the one that I'll be using, which is the organic unrefined shea butter, and I'm using the ivory type. I've used the yellow one before, so it's not that I have a preference. This just happened to be the one that I found in the shop, and then therefore I bought it, so it's fine. So the other thing that I'm going to add is jojoba oil. And jojoba oil, this one here actually, it's a mixture of jojoba oil and almond oil. So jojoba oil has got really good benefits for the skin. It's got vitamins and fatty acids, and it helps to seal in the moisture as well. But it also helps to nourish the skin and the hair follicles. So it's been shown to be really good for people who are experiencing hair loss, alopecia, and who've got really dry, coarse hair. So almond oil is also good for nourishing the skin and good moisturizing properties. And then I'm also adding this combination of Jamaican black castor oil. This one has got some argan oil in it. Jamaican black castor oil, so many of us know the benefits already, but it's good. It's good for sealing moisture in, so it helps to keep your hair nice and soft. It also boosts or stimulates hair growth, and it's got antibacterial, antifungal properties. So, you know, Jamaican black castor oil has made its name in the hair care community. Argan oil is really good as well, and that also helps to moisturize the skin and also the hair, but also it helps to stop frizz. So if you have a problem with frizzy hair, then argan oil is a really good option for you. And the third thing I'm going to add is just my carrot oil. So I made this a little while ago, and I'll link the video in which I showed you how I made the carrot oil, and also in which I explained the benefits of carrot oil. So I'll put a link to that on the screen and also in the description box below, so you can watch that, make your own, and also just find out a little bit more about carrot oil. To whisk it, I'm going to use this. I'm not going to remove it from the plug, from the socket, but I'm going to use a whisk. But you can also use a blender if you want to, and then of course just a spatula, and then a container to put your shea butter in once it's whipped. So first of all, I have put a pot on the hob, and it's got some hot water in there, and I've put a bowl on top. And what I'm going to do is to melt the shea butter and then mix it with the oils. And this is a fantastic way of melting things, and that makes sure that it's not going to burn and you're not going to overheat it, because we don't want to destroy all the vitamins by overheating or overcooking. So I'm just going to switch the hob on. Right, and then what I'm going to do is just add my shea butter and the oils. So how much you use really depends on how much you want to make, first of all, and then second of all, you can decide yourself just how creamy or how thick you want your whipped shea butter to be. The oils not only boost the properties of the shea butter, but also they're the ones which help to make it creamy. So if you want it really creamy, you can add more oil. If you want it on the thicker side, then you're going to add more of the shea butter. So the reason I'm melting them and mixing them together is so that they mix properly, because shea butter can be quite grainy, so we want to make sure that it is properly melted. So I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of the shea butter in here. So 1, it's an approximation, it's not exact, so it might look a bit more than you expect, but it's just to get a rough idea of how much to use. So 2, and then 3, that's the third one. So I like mine to be a little bit on the thick side. So what I'm going to add are 3 tablespoons of the carrot oil. One, 2, 3. And then I'm going to add 2 of the jojoba and almond oil. Obviously, if you have these separate, then you can add 1 of each, so 1 of jojoba oil and 1 of almond oil, but because mine is already mixed, I'm going to add 2 of them. And then I'm going to add 1 of my mixture of Jamaican black castor oil and argan oil. Again, if yours are separate, you can put half of each. It really just depends. And this is just my preference, but obviously if you want more of the Jamaican black castor oil or more of the jojoba oil, that's entirely up to you. It'll also affect the color, obviously, because the Jamaican black castor oil is, a nice, beautiful orangey color, and so is the carrot oil. So the more you add of those, then the more yellow it'll be. And as you can see, it's already starting to melt. So I'm just going to stir that very gently, make sure that it melts completely. Okay, so now it's completely melted, and what you just do now is just take it off the heat and just leave it to cool down and solidify. So be careful, the bowl's going to be hot and we really don't want anybody to get burned. And also now we've got hot oils in there, so please be careful when you're doing this, and make sure none of the water goes into the oil, because oil and water don't mix. So you could either leave it out to just cool down and get a semi-solid, so it'll solidify a bit, because if you whip it as it is, it's not really going to get whipped. If you want to speed up the process, you can actually just wait until it cools down a little bit and then put it in the freezer for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll let it cool down and then I'll come back and I'll show you the next step. So now we're back, and as you can see, the shea butter has solidified to some extent. It's still a bit on the soft side, as you can see, but I want it that way so that it's easier to whisk. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a whisk, but you can also use a blender if you've got that. And now I'm just going to whisk it until it's nice and creamy. So that's the consistency right now. As you can see, it's very, very creamy. It's still a little bit on the liquid side. So what I'm going to do now is just leave it to solidify a little bit longer, and then I'll whip it some more. So quickest way to do this is actually just to put it in the fridge. You don't need to put it in the freezer now because it's nice and cold. And it will solidify in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to put it back in the fridge and I'll take it from there. Okay, so we're at the last stage, and this is it. Actually kept it in for about 10 minutes just to make it a bit more solid. And now all I'm going to do is just whip it some more. And that's the consistency. As you can see, it is so nice and creamy. It is just beautiful. So this is not going to be the final consistency. I leave it like this because it's going to solidify a little bit more. And what I'll do now is just pop that into a jar. So this is my jar. I've cleaned this. I sanitize this with some boiled salt water, so cleaned it all out, thankfully absolutely no germs. And then all I'll do now is just transfer this into the jar. So now I'm going to show you the difference and you'll see how different they look. So this is the original, and again I'll remind you how difficult it is to get out. It's quite a solid mass, and if you just spread it, this is what it'll be like. Yes, it'll eventually melt, but it's just a lot harder. And now I'm going to wipe my hands. So you can see the difference, and look how easy this is to just take out. It's so creamy, it is so soft. It's like butter. It's so soft and it's melting already, and this is how easy it is to apply. And it's just beautiful. So it doesn't stay like this. I have to warn you that it doesn't stay this consistency, not always anyway, depending on your climate. If it's hot weather or warmer weather, then it'll probably stay like this. But if you're in colder climates, then it'll solidify a bit more. And I've just brought this, which I made a couple of days ago, just to show you what the end result will be. So even if you compare it to this, this is what it looks like. It's changed color, and remember this is solid, and even this one is still easy to take out. So it's not, definitely not the same as the original. It's still creamy and still very easy to take out, still very easy to apply. So now this will be so much easier to apply to your skin or to your hair. So this, you know, the reason why I like to keep it a little bit on the creamier side is so that it will settle. But now you can close this off. You don't need to keep it in the fridge. You can keep it on outside in room temperature, and it'll be absolutely fine. So, believe it or not, that is it. Our creamy whipped shea butter. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. Yes. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you're going to make this, or you're going to, you know, if you've made a different version for yourself, please let me know, and I'd love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments below. And as I said, anybody can use this, even people with low porosity hair. The amount you use obviously will then be different, but because we've added lots of good penetrating oils in there, a little goes a long way. So first of all, do your, you know, if you're doing your LOC method or LCO method, Then this here, because we've combined oils and the shea butter, then you don't need to add extra oils at all. You can just put in either a little bit of water just to moisten your hair and then apply this creamy buttery shea butter, or you can put in some leave-in conditioner and then apply the butter, the whipped shea butter, and that'll be you, and that will keep your hair nice and soft. Obviously, you need to decide how often you want to apply this. So if your hair is on the dry side, then you may need to do it every day for some people, but 3 times a week is usually enough, because as long as you protect your hair at night so that your oils don't go into the pillows, so maybe use either a satin bonnet. I don't know what I was going to say, but use a satin bonnet or a satin scarf or a satin pillowcase, and the oils are going to stay in your hair and on your scalp, and it's just going to nourish your scalp and your hair will thrive. So give it a go if you've never used it before. If you've never used shea butter, try a little bit and let me know how you get on. If you're going to use it or if you try it, please come back and let me know what you think. And I'll see you in my next video. I've got lots and lots of good videos coming up, so please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please give the video a thumbs up, because that will really help my channel grow. And if you know anyone who's interested in hair care, especially DIY natural hair care and skin care and just a healthy lifestyle, please send them over to the channel so that they can subscribe as well, and we can let this community grow and have a good time. Anyway, again, thank you so much. Have a great day wherever you are in the world. I'll see you next time. Take care, my lovelies. Bye.